Ahoy there, nautical truth seekers. My name is Aries Ezra, your decorated skipper for this voyage, and you have just boarded the illustrious ship Nautical Awakenings, where we have daily deep dives into Esoterica and sail vastly through the waters of truth. Today, our course takes us to a mystery so ancient, so deeply ingrained in the human experience, that it may just be the key to understanding why humanity, time and time again, fails to unite in true harmony. We're talking about the Tower of Babel, the fragmentation of human communication, and why despite all of our technological advancements, our spiritual awakenings, and our shared struggles, we just can't seem to come together to create the world we all dream of. It's time to set our compasses, batten down the hatches, and make haste to the mess decks, so we may break bread and discuss this topic together. Let's get nautical. In the book of Genesis, humanity was once united. One people, one language, one shared vision. The descendants of Noah had settled in the land of Shinar and decided to build a city with a tower that reached the heavens. It wasn't just an ordinary tower, it was a declaration, a challenge, a testament to human ambition and divine defiance. But then, divine intervention. God, seeing the tower as a symbol of humanity's overreach, confused their languages, scattering them across the earth. And just like that, the great experiment of unity collapsed into chaos. Now, let's step back and ask the bigger question: was the Tower of Babel a literal event, a historical occurrence? Or is it something deeper, something symbolic, something etched into the very fabric of human consciousness? Archaeologically, some scholars believe the myth of Babel may be linked to real structures like the ziggurats of Mesopotamia, those stepped temples dedicated to the gods, such as the famous Enki of Babylon, which was an actual temple tower dedicated to Marduk. These structures were designed to bridge heaven and earth, much like the Tower of Babel itself. But here's where things get interesting. Some interpretations suggest that the Babel story was not just about language, but about technology, about knowledge itself being dispersed, hidden, or encoded in ways that only those in the know could access. Think about it. Humanity was on the verge of something powerful. But instead of rising together, we were divided, confused, and set on separate paths. Now, scientifically, we see that human language does, in fact, seem to have a single origin point. Linguists have spent decades tracing back the evolution of language, and while we don't have a clear picture, there is evidence suggesting that all human tongues may have evolved from a single proto-language spoken tens of thousands of years ago. The fragmentation of language throughout history mirrors the Babel story: different tongues, different cultures, different ways of thinking, all growing more distinct over time. Could this be the lingering ripple effect of an ancient event that, whether literal or symbolic, still shapes our world? But what if Babel wasn't just a story about language? What if it was a story about collapse, about the destruction of something grand, something that could have elevated us? In Tarot, there is a card that mirrors this exact theme: the Tower. A towering structure struck by lightning, figures falling, chaos unfolding, a moment of sudden destruction that leads to transformation. The Tower card represents upheaval, the breaking down of illusions, the kind of event that shatters old ways of thinking and forces evolution. Doesn't that sound exactly like what happened at Babel? Esoterically, the Tower in Tarot is ruled by Mars, the planet of action, war, and forceful change. This tells us something crucial. Destruction isn't just random chaos, it's an opportunity for rebirth. Just as the Tower of Babel fell, scattering languages and dividing people, the Tarot's Tower forces us to reevaluate, to rebuild from the rubble with clearer eyes. But have we learned? Or do we just keep constructing new towers, whether physical, digital, or ideological, only for them to collapse again and again? And what about today? Have we unknowingly rebuilt the Tower of Babel in digital form? Artificial intelligence is now translating languages in real time. Social media connects billions across the world. And yet, are we truly unified? Or are we just living in the illusion of connection? The internet was meant to be a great equalizer, a new tower to bring us back together. But instead, we see division, manipulation, and control at an all-time high. If Babel was about the scattering of knowledge, then perhaps AI represents a new attempt to reclaim it. But will it be for humanity's enlightenment, or will it be another fall? But before we go further, let's talk about clarity and focus. Diving deep into esoteric knowledge requires a sharp mind, and that's why I fuel my research with Dubby Energy. Dubby is a wondrous elixir of an energy drink that has clean ingredients that won't leave you with the jitters, cause you to crash, or experience that nasty artificial aftertaste. Dubby is perfect for those long study sessions, keeping you afloat as you awake on this journey toward truth. No tower moments here. If you want to try it out, check out the link in the video description below, and be sure to use my code ARIES1147 for a 10% discount off your order. Fuel your quest for truth the Dubby way. Thank you to Dubby and all my subscribers from supporting this small channel. Now, back to the video. The real question is, why can't we come together now? What keeps us divided? We share the same planet, the same basic desires for peace, love, and fulfillment, yet we remain trapped in cycles of misunderstanding, war, and exploitation. Is it simply human nature? Or is there something more esoteric at play? This brings us to the power of language itself. Esoteric traditions across cultures, from the ancient Hebrews to the Egyptians to the mystics of the East, have long believed that words are not just tools for communication, but forces of creation. The Bible itself begins with, "In the beginning was the Word," and countless spiritual traditions echoed the idea that reality itself is shaped by vibration and sound. The Kabbalistic tradition holds that the Hebrew letters contain divine codes of power, while Egyptian hieroglyphs were more than symbols. They were magical constructs, believed to hold the essence of what they represented. If the Tower of Babel was about the fragmentation of language, then it may not have just been about spoken words, but about a deeper knowledge of the power of sound and vibration. What if the people of Babel were using a form of communication that transcended mere speech, one that was directly linked to creation itself? And what if the division of languages was not just a punishment, but a way to obscure that power, to ensure that humanity could no longer access the hidden knowledge embedded in sound and symbols? And speaking of control, was this scattering a natural event? Or was it engineered? Ancient Gnostic texts speak of the archons, parasitic entities that thrive on division, deception, and control. These beings, according to esoteric teachings, work tirelessly to keep humanity in a state of confusion, keeping us divided so that we never realize our true power. Could the fragmentation of language and understanding be part of a greater plan to keep us from uniting, from reclaiming a lost knowledge that once made us whole? If we were once connected in a higher way, the archons, whether symbolic or literal, have ensured that we remain in a perpetual state of separation, forever struggling to piece together the fragments of what was once a unified human consciousness. Think about the world today. We have the internet, a new Tower of Babel in digital form, where we are supposedly more connected than ever. Yet, what do we see? More division, more fragmentation, more echo chambers, more misunderstanding. We are lost in translation, speaking at each other rather than with each other. If we were once whole, we are now echoes, broken and scattered. But the story doesn't have to end there. If the Tower of Babel was a fall, then it can also be a blueprint for reconstruction. What was once lost can be regained. The key is in language, not just spoken words. but the language of the soul, of empathy, of true understanding. That's the deep dive for today, Nautical Truth Seekers. If you found these revelations thought-provoking, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Nautical Awakenings. Until next time, stay awakened, stay aware, and keep searching for the truth. Fair winds and following seas. Peace and love, my spiritual shipmates.